Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacast. Me, your host, Imperial Dane. We're off to a 2 vs 2 here on Simuski Winter. We'll be watching Stugosaurus and fahu here fighting for the Germany. I was about to say Soviet Union for some bizarre reason, but no. They're fighting for Deutschland. For the 18th Panzergrenadier Division here. With Festung armor, spearhead and German mechanized. And Lightning War, Blitzkrieg und Jäger armor versus Synthrax and Puppetmaster here fighting for the Soviet Union, actually fighting for the 10th Armor Tank Corps with guard motor, reserve army and Soviet industry, interesting, and mechanized support, defensive tactics and guard motor coordination tactics. Back to Synthrax here with the support weapons start. Maxim's already out, he needs some infantry there soonish, I would imagine. Conscripts here, no buildings initially there for him. Just conscripts, comrades. Meanwhile, we are seeing some infantry arriving here for fahu and Stugosaurus with the 2 pioneers start by landing up some grenadiers afterwards. With additional grenadiers here arriving for fahu. So far so good, a bit of a focus here from fahu on the centre, where Stugosaurus is pouring in towards the west here with his pioneers leading the way. Grenadiers following up to provide Weaponsunterstützung. Should be interesting. Bit of repeat pattern here from the Soviets. Mirroring the actions. And looks like he's getting some infantry to support his Maxims. That is good. First engagement up here. Pioneers going out for the constant campus in the cemetery. Pioneers out in the open. Quickly getting pushed back there. So most of the guns unleash hell upon them. More conscripts pouring into the village centre there from Puppetmaster. Points there being secured. Moving up to secure those points as well. Troops hanging about here, looks like. Stugosaurus is waiting for troops to help push up here. He doesn't feel too confident. No! Reacting and munitions cache going over pretty early on from Stugosaurus. Interesting. And a heavy machine gun there arriving for fahu. Additional Maxim there arriving for Synthrax. Sitting able to cover this part of the map. Points there falling. Few upon being secured here by the Wehrmacht. The Ost here. Conscripts moving in. Comrades moving from south side tactics, setting up there a nice little enveloping attack. Nicely played there by Puppetmaster. Although moving up here in the open, his men are getting a bit punished. We have to recover that. On the other hand, the clever move there, having the combat engineers provide support, overall limiting a lot more firepower versus the grenadiers there from range. We do see another grenadier squad arriving, but at this stage it might simply be too late here for fahu. In fact, he is getting pushed off here, so roll nicely coordinated here into engagement by Puppetmaster. Plays his advantage and got it. Grenadiers get stopped by Max, but at the same time, infantry push continues up here. Pioneers moving towards here, but at the same time, looks like the Grenadiers are trying to flank the Maxim. But while going up, that's going to be stopped there. Pioneers for some reason not jumping over the fence, getting close in, not sure what's going on there. Maxim falling back into the ditch, trying to sort of deal with other things. Conscripts flanking in. Nicely played there by Synthrax. Conscripts pouring into here. We are seeing the fahu is forced to fall back here. Engagement did not work out for him at all. MG42 moving in. Trying to get the Maxim up closer. Looks like he has it outmaneuvered, but he needs to take up position in the building. He's coming under a lot of fire there. From nearby infantry units, Pioneers putting into the ditch as well here in the village. Maxim making a run for the house. Oh dear, looks like they will be able to get out. The guns need to fall back. This is not looking good. Another squad. Oh! Grenadier squad down here. Stugosaurus overextending, not perhaps playing as well as it could have. That's definitely going to hurt. Rifle grenade flying through the air doesn't do much. Pioneers need to fall back as well. Stugosaurus' men are taking heavy casualties here by the western outskirts of the village. Nice Soviet opening so far. Has applied a lot of pressure here to the Germans. And they need to fall back here. Zurückfallen. Männer. Another Max moving here. Pushing the bodies out of the way as though they were trash. As well. Medic bunker up there. That's going to be good, I imagine. More troops that will be near. And there goes Stugosaurus, quick to replace the infantry losses he's suffered. And meanwhile, fahu doing what they can to secure the southern parts of the village, but at the same time needs to be careful, since infantry might easily push in for both Soviet players. March going over there, that's good position in the cover there, also more direct approach from here. So roll will fall out there by Synthrax. Like to make a nice company going up. MG4 here, by the way, not too well placed. Conscripts there, recent waves back. Oh no! Just barely being caught here by the MG42, just barely. Still close enough to get off on Molotov. MG42 forced to fall back. More conscripts moving in. Nothing to cover the positions there.
We have the point. Awaiting command.
That's going to be a bit dangerous. Fahu also with 2 pioneer squads, by the way. So both players having 2 pioneer squads in their hands. Stugosaurus is rather low on infantry, and he might end up losing that munitions carriage soon if he's not careful. Germans that are getting more munitions than their Soviet counterparts. There you go. Mac MD42 caught here by some conscripts. All the conscripts are a bit depleted.
It is cold out here.
A few grenades bringing to assist could push them off. Seeing a larger pusher going across the ice. We're seeing a light machine gun going up here for Stugosaurus, but immediately Maxim fires one of the village buildings, catching the fascists on the ice. Not quite thin ice though. And at the same here, conscripts running into quite a bit of trouble as well. 2 gunner squads moving in from either side. MD42 coming to retreat as well. There we go. Ow, but the MD42 has to retreat that very moment. That was definitely not good. Meanwhile, the assault continues here. Actually, Maxim was forced out of the building. Interesting now, pioneers moving in there. Flanking in. Good job there. Good. Gutes Arbeit, Pioniere. There you go, rifle going as well. The Maxim could go down here, but no. Conscripts moving out. They might still get it. They might still get it. Can they get it? No! 2 heavy damage, much damage there. Maxim firing from the outskirts of the cemetery. Then they need to fall back, firing point blank with the light machine gun. Can they stop the Russians? But no, they are too low on health. Mines going off by the sound of it. Someone blowing up. Looks like a Cannoneer squad, in fact. Took some pretty severe casualties there. Fuel caches going up here from Fahu. He's laying down 2 at the same time. That's 400 manpower in one go. Not being expended on combat units. That's a bit dangerous considering they already have a bit of a tenuous grip here on the map. So I'm not entirely sure I would condone that, to be honest. No commander so far from Puppetmaster. He's now getting snipers. I mean, that's only going to make it more difficult for the Germans if they're not going to be expending anything towards something right away that can sort of help push out. With 2 fuel caches that way. Of course, in the other side, it might help them sort of deal with the fact they only got no fuel points, so... But at the same time, I can clearly match these snipers here coming to fire from the Grenadiers. Fighting continues here, pioneers going up here in the building with the MP40s, the Schmeissers. Quick Molotov, though, turns that place into a less than happy place to be. Further fighting for the fuel point while the Maxim opens up. Sniper here firing in support. That's definitely going to give Fahu there a bit of a headache. Pushing into the village. Large infantry force once more moving in. Still not a large unit count. We certainly see nothing either like the mechanized company. Which is definitely also odd. There we go, though we do see Fahu adding in here on Panzerwagen. The Hanumag, as was known by the Allies, due to the fact it was made by Hanumag. The light half-tech, by the way, was actually made by another company called D-Mag. Oh, conscript might problem. Do finally see some Panzer Grenadier here riding for Stugosaurus. A quick and violent end here for these conscripts. Gone down in front of the truck. Pioneers, oh, quick volley there from the snipers, and the Maxims quickly decimate them. And like we're seeing here, fighting from nearby building, conscripts trying to cross the street. That's going to be a bit ugly there. A bit ugly. Troops moving in. Panzers try to take up position in the church and fire away here. In fact, if they do, they could catch a sniper, or they could just try and sneak about, but at the same time, we'll allow them to get a bit closer here. I think, oh well.
That's the last one. Enemy forces are capturing our supplies.
Conscripts running straight at the Panzer guns. That was not the best idea. Bun grenade going off. Snipers immediately open up, causing one sniper down. They pull back rather rapidly. Half-tech hitting a mine. Damage engine already well played there by the Soviets. Pushing into the village, but they're having quite a bit of trouble as resistance is increasingly sharpening up. Also pushing back in the right flank, not looking too good for the Germans. Gunners holding up here, firing back. More forces being rolled in. That half-tech could probably go in soon enough. Also noting that Fahu has got plenty of munitions at the moment, but does not seem to actively utilising it whatsoever. A mortar could probably help the Germans a bit here with some of the snipers and other things hiding in the village, and we're seeing field guns and Maxims here for Synthrax, so he doesn't seem to acquire a lot more infantry anyway, so otherwise he can probably also suffer a loss, but he still has some infantry. That's good. That is good. Both players have infantry. There's a bit of a mix of how much they have, but at least they both possess some.
Your orders, comrade. Mines all set. Fire incoming.
Teleman's going down there on the road here to ward off any armoured assaults there, or at least make a mess of them. Those here ready to sort of flank in, perhaps fire off a rifle grenade against any suspected snipers. Support armour corps quickly follows up here for Stugosaurus. Quick off grenade here. Oh, there we go. Mine spotted and wrecked.
Well done,
once more. Pushing into the right hand side again, having a bit of issues, Pioneers coming in, they're going to be caught in a bit of a nasty spot here out in the open. Quite a few conscripts fighting away there, merrily, most merrily.
We are losing supplies.
And another mine here on the ice, quickly ending the lives of 3 machine gun crewmen. And there go rifle grenade. Sadly did not do much. And also revealed the cannoneers here behind the hedgerows.
Enemy contact!
Half-track trying here to burst into the village, but drives into the snow pile and ultimately achieves a minimal effect, to be honest. Could try and push in there versus a sniper still, but doesn't seem to be moving. No anti-tank grenades are on the way here, but seemingly here, fahu is a bit reluctant. Anyways, over to Stugosaurus. Half-track there pushing the snipers away. So the Mittelschützenpanzerwagen has successfully spearheaded the assault to a certain extent. Could have done better, I think. That's for another time. We've seen testing army here chosen for Stugosaurus. Stug is on the way, but noting he's got not a lot of units at the moment. That's definitely going to be a bit of a problem, I fear.
Ivan is shooting at us!
Having a bit of trouble in the village.
Standing by. The enemy is taking our territory.
Also quite a bit of munitions here available for Stugosaurus. fahu expending quite a bit as well. Conditioning up here on the flank maybe. Pioneers though catching up here in the middle of the cemetery and getting gunned down. And there go immediately 2 snipers fighting. Both get a shot there through the church buildings. Pushing in from the other part of the village. There we go. The Germans want to force to pull it to the very outskirts of it. And at the same time pushing up here fahu supporting now the southern push instead. After they're ready to reinforce the MG. That is good. That's helpful. And there we go. Oops. Sturmgeschütz here has arrived for Stugosaurus. Stug 3 aus vom G. There was of course also the Stug 4 made on the Panzer IV chassis. After the factories actually making the Stug were bombed out and the Stug production was simply too important, so they actually converted one factory building Panzer IVs to make Stugs of the Panzer IV chassis. Little fun fact there. Flampanzerwagen up here, so he's already tier 3.
The enemy is attempting to steal our sector.
Trying to burn his way. Oh, hitting a mine and an anti-tank grenade. That flame throw half there ended rather brightly. Mobile barbecue. Stug here getting a bit of a shot, but quickly and push back. We're seeing a field gun also arriving here for Synthrax. Stug needs to vacate the village proper. Meanwhile, Stugosaurus is pushing in more infantry. MG holding out here in the southern part. Panzers moving in. They could try and take up the Max are moving in as well. Trying to flank up behind.
Our squad has been honored by its bravery.
Meanwhile, further pushes in here. Might be able to get some of the snipers there. Or at least one. Kill one. There we go. There we go. The Russians now find themselves pushed out of the village. They could get the Maxim. Or at least force it to. And there we go. T-34 arriving as well. Stealing it away there. T-34 though, quickly ending the lives of 2 other Panzer Grenadiers. That seems perhaps then a bit less than effective. Field gun cleared up. Pioneers could quickly try and recruit it. Turning against the Soviets. Katyusha up here. Looks like a mechanized armor company has arrived. And Synthrax has opted for Katyusha. Stug rolling in. Pioneers taking velocity to Molotov and combined counter fire. They're trying to get up. Panzer 5 and the T-34. Lots of death, lots of explosions. Either way though, the Germans have managed to push the Russians out of the village. Stug needs to pull back, but at the same time he's got 1 veteran, 2 Pioneers squad nearby to repair. No, don't send the Pioneers in, they should repair. Repair. Yeah, scheiße. Snipers rapidly sprinting ahead.
You guys, listen to me if you want to live. Ready for action.
And a Maxim going in here for the northern fuel point.
Enemy forces are securing our territory.
Nice job there by fahu immediately repairing his allies' assault gun. Also noting he has actually opted for the heavy Panzer Corps für Deutschland. Looks like the Panzer Gun Division is receiving some support from a nearby Panzer Division. And there you go, Stug opens up. On the conscript, snipers moving in as well. Panzer's trying to plot a bit of covering fire here for the northern parts, but not quite any success. And there you go, Coh2 firing away. Lightly on the Stug and the repairing pioneers. Going up a bit. Not sure what happened anyway. It looks like he's actually getting a scout kill with an auto cannon. Might be there to get either Coh2 or maybe the snipers here. Stalking the village. Failing any Germans they can. Oh, Panzer squad here getting hunted down by a huge mob of conscripts. Might get cut down there. Conscript is so quick to fight cover from the nearby building, falling back out of the building as well. The conscripts are rushing up to it. 2 T-34s coming up here, few gun not recruit. Stug moving back to the action. While the guys here mount a desperate defense at an increasingly bad looking building. Defense panzer available here for Stugosaurus, while pioneers push in, popping over here to fahu with a panther on the way. And looks like a Stugosaurus. So that should add a bit of firepower. Interesting to see the command tank. I mean, it's not so much used anymore. Pioneers running to the northern outskirts of the village. Then he's holding up with a light machine gun. Stug here providing covering fire as much as he can against the T-34s, though seemingly with little effect. Small push by fire into the southern part. Panther still on the way. Fels Panzer slowly moving on. And looks like the conflict could go out to the pioneers. A small victory for the Pioniere.
The new unit has arrived.
There you go, pouring in. Stug fighting away, not quite hitting. Field gun still not recruited, so they might actually have a chance, in particular to keep to the northern part of the village, the command tank to fend blast. But no, apparently here Stugosaurus is not feeling very confident for some reason. Oh, never mind, Mark Vehicle rather negates that, if not a bit more. Sneak up in there. Snipers continuing to snipe away. And there you go, the Panther arrives on the field of battle. Trying to shoot there versus the Sturmovik hovering above. Command engagement up here. Looks like the IL-2 went down. Ooh, not far away. Interesting enough, despite then having this advantage, not trying to push in with a combined assault here with a Panther command tank and a Stug T-34s from the village. So not sure what they're worried about. Sorry about us, the slight lag. I suppose it still happens from time to time, at least it's not as bad as it was with Fraps. More rockets going down. Lots more. Now going to in the southern parts. There we go, Victory 2. That should definitely help a bit there, but losses are inflicted here upon fahu. And there's unfortunate men there. Go Molotov by one squad man to get cut. Both Molotovs down the MD. That's definitely incendiary. SU-5 now coming from the other side of the river. Panther doing what he can here, machine guns and grenadier support from a nearby ditch. Still, Stugosaurus seems to be not moving at all, and again, there we go. I mean, the T-34's now even moving out. They could easily knock them out here, but for some reason, Stugosaurus is a bit reluctant. Panther fast connects. Stugosaurus is still not moving.
The enemy is taking our territory.
And fahu chooses Jägeram.
New items can now be built.
Not sure. I mean, he's gone for Panthers, so why go Jägeram then? Seems like a bit of an odd choice, to be honest. Also, he's added a Panther. Looks like a bit of artillery. My sincere apologies for all these small interruptions constantly. I don't know. My computer just seems to be having a bad day, which I suppose can happen to anyone. Meanwhile, we see the Soviets adding a lot more artillery. The Germans all have basically the same equivalents, almost, only a rocket launcher and the Panzerwerfer. No actual artillery. We're seeing a pack 3.
Enemy forces are
Nope,
securing
here,
our
as...
territory.
And I'll just, in fact, pause sort of... Actually, let's wait a bit.
Grenadiers
I'll just point out a bit of an issue with that one.
We need orders.
The devil with you!
SU-35 here, rapidly pushing back the Panther. Alongside a T-34, apparently also doing quite a nice job here. Possible also the Howards having managed quite a hit on that Panther by the looks of it. Stug here, Veterans U1. SU-35 covering the small approach, good, good. Irregular says he's actually gone for surplus sail. I mean, that's fun. But, time for the mid-game analysis. And let's get back to that Pack 43. Let's notice the range. How far does it cover? Just to this part. And what part have the Germans mostly been holding? This part. What does that tell us about this Pack 43? It's not very useful. It doesn't really provide them much support in actually taking these points. I mean, yes, it'll protect them against anything rushing their base, but that's it. Also, considering the opponent has a howitzer, it's also rather limited. I mean, I know, for example, Stugosaurus, for example, had mechanized a howitzer there would be a much better place, but Pack 43, it needs to be around here to sort of have any sort of chance of covering a more vital part of the village, more importantly, the one where the opponent's armor most of the time will actually be. So this is basically, for the larger part, I feel, a waste of manpower right here by Stugosaurus. So just want to get that out of the way. I definitely feel that it's not a very good Pack 43 right there. It certainly won't be helping them in sort of pushing back towards the village unless the Soviets will be very insistent on rushing all of their armor within range of this heavy anti-tank gun. Anyways, the current situation for the Germans is a bit on the back foot. I mean, overall they're expending a lot of resources except towards combat frontline use, whereas the Russians have been putting more efforts, so that's slowly taking up. And so far the Russians hold most of that, they've also been quite draining. I mean, right here, notice the Soviet player Puppetmaster, the one with the 2 snipers, really been able to drain the life out of the Germans. He's actually got a higher kill count than either of the Germans. And that ought to indicate here that something's not gone right. And again, perhaps they have gone for too many caches at once. So there's a bit of a problem there for the Germans. They sort of went for everything else but their combat units, and that in the longer term has hurt them a bit. Like the mechanized companies definitely weren't sort of fully utilized, I feel. But now they are here in this situation and need to push back here for Deutschland, for the Reich, for the Panzergrenadier-Division. But can they? I mean, there are some options, obviously. I mean, they need to push out here properly, and that's another problem. They haven't really made any proper coordinated armor attacks, which again could have cleared out the village, but by now is actually going to be a much larger and more difficult task to pull off. But still, with a command tank, with a Panther, with a Stug, they might still possess some options here in doing so, though another tank would not be a bad idea. And then, of course, we look at the commanders. If I was gone for Jaeger armor again, I'm not convinced that's a good idea. I mean, certainly a lot of the abilities could be useful, but then again, why didn't it use earlier than when he had the half check out and had, you know, the ability to lay down Riegel mines? And that department there definitely feels a bit like a shame here again. I certainly think he could then have gone for some of the other commanders like Blitzkrieg. Added some smoke. He could have had, you know, the Stuga Kanonenvogel provide support while the Panther rushes in and such. Or he could have gone for Spearhead with a mortar attack, smoke also, and a Panther rushing, or Tiger tank even supporting the Panther, and then maybe a fragmentation bombing run. I mean, there were some options there, and I definitely don't feel this is the more optimal choice. But again, an assault needs to go in. I think they should, instead of trying to attack through here, should attack through here, or there's some mines which clear the way, and then basically charge in from this angle, catching perhaps the Soviet a bit off guard. And maybe catching some other things here and there. That would definitely help them. But they need to pull off one solid armor push with everything they can muster. Otherwise they're going to be in problems. Also for the Soviets, I mean, they're looking alright. They got most of the maps of mines here and there would definitely help. Sort of setting a perimeter of those. Setting up around the victory points in particular. More armor, of course, would also be an idea. Recruiting this field gun definitely should be a must. And then repairing it to ensure, of course, it won't get blasted up. Currently it's less than half health, so I mean, if recruited, it won't last much longer, so it needs to be repaired as well. I mean, that's always a good thing to keep in mind, you know, repair your support weapons from time to time if possible. So there are some options there, but mining and getting some more armor, and considering one, I think, going for, what was it, Guards motor, was it? I think so. Though, interesting enough, he's actually not utilized anything except mark vehicle from it. No heavy mortars, no guardsmen. He could probably consider that, but otherwise, you know, setting up for a pair of T-30-45 to sort of help things would not be a bad idea. And getting the half-tick up more close to the frontline units wouldn't either. And Synthrax here, mining up here, that's interesting. No, he must be worried actually about any kind of rush as opposed towards the armor though, or the howitzer, but there's no mines there. So I know. But there we go. We actually saw the half track here, so he must have tried to hunt it down after the Katyusha. Interesting to note, by the way. But returning into the fight, and of course the Russians could always continue pushing forward. Katyusha firing here. Noting here 2 irregular squads up. The light machine guns covering different parts. That's good. The regulars here, in fact, doing all right and holding up the Germans with a light machine gun. But there we go. Rifle grenades going in. Panzers pushing in. T-34 rushing back. H-35 pulling back. Snipers firing into the village. Then it is flanking, coming on fire from the regulars. Combat engineers, snipers soon as well. This is looking a bit grim here. A half taking up to support him, push back the Germans. Panzer squad are rushing and running and gunning. But the quad-mounted air gun really turning into them quite viciously. Stugosaurus rapidly receiving well-needed repairs. A half-tech now coming up for Stugosaurus as well.
You have orders? You need something built?
You can see that Synthrax is quite on the ball here with mines. That is good to see. A half-tech just mowing in, but there you go, got a bit too close and Panther Fausted. That could leave an opening here for a Panther or something else to move in and knock it out. It seems to have done much damage. It would actually be a bit of a waste of resources, I feel. And the Katyusha is actually firing on the same area. Careful, Ivan. The third Panzer moving up, Stuke moving up, Panzer over repair, pack fully free, not doing much. That's definitely going to be the end there. The half track, the Panther has arrived, the Panzerkampf Wagen 5. Unleashing machine gun fire. And there we go. The half track is but a wreck, but a dream of a wreck.
Fresh units on the field.
Wow, he's just spamming irregulars. Of course, they're actually a bit cheaper now, but it's actually fun to see how many irregulars he's actually getting. I mean, in a sense, they're reasonably alright on the defensive. You pop them into a building of some such, then the light machine guns can tear into the but it's actually quite interesting to note, nonetheless, how many he's getting. Some units dying over there. And munitions cache going up. That, I think, is a bit bold, considering how close they are to the enemy. A Panther sneaking up behind here. Might be on the hunt for some fuel cache, but this one's not even been finished. Gott im Himmel! That's definitely not a good idea, then that's definitely a waste of manpower. And we're seeing rapid conscription up, but note he actually has got no infantry effort to plan, really. Note it does not apply to the regulars. Oh dear, Stuka bombing run in on the howitzer. And that was that. Some unfortunate more mines going down here. Germans slowly pushing ahead. Panzer having repaired once more. Panzer have otherwise not made a single kill. And Panther needs to be careful on the ice. Very careful. H-35 barely hits. T-34 gets off hit. Then we're seeing marked vehicle on the Panther, increasing any damage down. There we go. Nice hit from the H-35, almost down to half health. Almost down to half health. Panther trying to escape here. Rapidly moving backwards. Can they get off a hit? I wonder. Command tank firing at the munitions cache. Panther continuing to pull back. Gets more friendly forces. Less than half health left. T-34 moving ahead. Stu is nowhere near to be seen. We're seeing Panther force now running through the source, but they've got the Stu going up as well. Target recon will be good. Artillery going into port, and what was this? Railway artillery going down here. That's an odd move. Apparently Stugosaurus has a huge issue with the ice. He decides it must be punished for being too cold. Not really much else I can imagine as the cause for this massive destruction unleashed upon the unfortunate and innocent ice. Could have been a misclick, I suppose, but still just seems odd.
Enemy forces are neutralizing a sector.
Veterans 1, the H-5 opening up for tracking here. That's always handy, always good to have. Unfortunately under rather than... Oh, nasty fire there. Snipers quickly cleaning out. Snipers still haven't really received any attention from the Germans.
The enemy is taking what we have secured.
Panther back for repairs, desperately so. More Panzers arriving for the Germans. T-34 sneaking in there. And a mine doing a good job there.
Building complete.
Commons on the move. Panzer doing, I think, some light damage. In fact, the Panzer have so far killed more with the machine gun, I imagine, than its rockets. But so far, the Germans are not really making any headway. There we go. Pep T-34 85 has arrived for Puppetmaster. Popping over to him.
Mortar team has arrived.
Yeah, hang on. Now it's me that needs a break because I need to get something to drink. And again, sorry about that, but I think you prefer that rather than me constantly coughing. Because my throat went dry. Not sure why I would charge in with a Panther 4 command tank right there. Seems a bit of an odd choice.
I am two attacking armor.
Aim fire on this position! Yes,
Panzer's moving into the southern village.
We are bleeding, comrade!
Bit up here in the north.
Troops destroyed.
More rockets, more death. T-34 seems to have gained a nice kill there. More grenadiers. Oh, Panzer grenadiers actually looks to have been nicely wiped out here. A desperate stand by Fahu failed. More rockets going in here, threatening to murder pioneers and Panther alike. With another Panther arriving, looks like Stugosaurus is trying to build up a more armoured assault force with several Panzers to support the Panther and the Stug. Or whatever. The currently the Germans are having a hard time of things. They really need to make some kind of push, otherwise they will fail otherwise. I mean, fully. Panther running about here, conscripts. Oh, behind the hedge, quickly lob an attack tank grenade over it. Good job there. T-34 doing what it can here. No support though. T-34 would be forced to fall back in the face of the Panther in his high velocity 75mm gun. Then he is getting splattered out here by T-30-45s and an S-35. Panther doing what it can, looks like a larger amount of swords going in. Stug needs to provide support. Panzers need to move in. Come on, Stugosaurus, support your teammate. There we go. A bit late. Panther rammed. Mate. Oh dear, it went down. Stug, they're doing what he can here. Panther kaput. Stug doing what he can there. Closing in on Veteran 2, that would definitely help it. Target weak point might prove an idea. There you go, Panzer Faust. Panzer's moving in from the north. T-30-45 down. Vettel and the Stug. T-30-45 down. Stug. S-35 down. T-34-76 also close to going down. Stug, Veterans U2. Field gun, by the way, not recruit, but this is really the chance for the Germans to sort of do some massive damage. They need to push ahead here. No mines were laid down to already slow down the assault. The field gun was not recruit. So there's now nothing to stop them, but can the Germans push ahead sufficiently fast enough? Mortar rounds going down here. Heavy mortar up now for Puppetmaster, about time. Pack 43 does seem to have done some damage. I suppose it's not all bad. Still can't help but feel still wasn't the best position. Stug rolling in, Grenadiers, Panzers bringing in, but now it can't really help them support further. I mean, it can't help them keep the points here. Points are drastically taken down. We're now noting here that fahu has upped before the Elephant heavy tank, so just when they destroyed most of the enemy's armour, which rather leaves it a bit limited in perspective and utility. Stug takes a direct volley here from the Katyusha. That's an interesting use actually of the direct power ability from the Katyusha. Actually, that's not bad thinking. Artillery opening up as well.
Enemy machine gun!
The enemy has found us! Your command? We are bleeding, comrade! Awaiting order!
Situation is rather uncomfortable. Another pair of T-35 here is ready for Puppetmaster.
This is our
T-34 ready for combat. We are finished here.
T-34 will be rolling up. Power to continue to fire a new one, by the way. After the one was knocked out by the Luftwaffe.
I am getting shot at here.
Panzer IV doing what it can, but it's rather limited. Infantry rolling up in ditches, limiting the effect of the Panzer IV. Desperate fighting going in here for the victory points.
Enemy troops. The enemy is encroaching on our territory.
Stug doing what can. The snipers can. The Sturmgeschütz get the Sharpshooter. The Heckenschützen. But they've got fresh pair of T-35 surviving. Stug needs to get out of there. Might have a chance of bouncing some of the shots, but can't keep that up for long. And there we go. And tank grenades and other fun stuff. Knocking out the engine. In fact, looks like... Oh, destroyed engine. T-35 went down. Stug got bombing strike. They're clearing up the centre victory point. Stug down. Stug down. Stugosaurus down to his Panthers. There's Panzer moving, but it's getting marked vehicle. Where is the rest of the tanks? Bit of a reckless assault here. Elephant can't do much either. In particular, the layout of the village is rather limiting the effectiveness of the elephant, which again also begs the question of why.
Has been destroyed.
Another T-35 went up in flames. Apparently that was apparently not even there. Another Panzer IV arriving, but that's going to front of the field gun and the SD5. Already taking heavy damage. A quick use of smoke there by Stugosaurus, but can he escape the village of death?
Our skill increases.
Panzer's doing what they can with limited success. Oh, Panzer IV looks like took a direct hit from something. I'm going to guess that was that howitzer. Another command tank arriving here. Stugosaurus seems to be a believer in the Befehlspanzer. Panzer IV engaging a field gun directly. More Stuka bombing strikes going to need to fall back. Utter chaos here, utter chaos. There you go. Got the field gun somehow. Pioneers charging the centre. Combat using conscripting what they can in the sniper support SD5 as well. The Befehlspanzer once more leading the charge with Panzer, still not providing any support. Not sure here what Stugosaurus is thinking. And of course the snipers just continue to kill without mercy or remorse. Victory points rapidly falling here to the Soviets once more. 28 points left here for the Germans. Elephant on thin ice.
To defeat. 25 points remaining. We are losing a sector.
Elephant could go down here, needs to pull back. Ah, Scheiße. Oh dear, it's still there, it's still there. Somehow the elephant was not sunk against all odds. Panzer IV gets a field gun, but the SD5 on the hand looks like we're getting the Panzer IV.
We are losing. With 10 points remaining.
8 points left, 7 points left.
That's everyone.
Looks pretty much like GG. And Panzer IV there went down.
We have lost a Panzer.
Puppetmaster rushing out another T-34. Let's just speed this up. Pack 43 got that one. Gaining veteran photo rolled game over here. Short and brutal, and sadly a slightly laggy fight here. My sincerest apologies. Not sure what quite happened there. Just apparently a bad day for my computer can happen. There's not much to do about that. Anyway, so still interesting fight here. We saw the Soviets actually holding well with infantry, but both having sort of some slight different support units for the infantry. Did alright there. They kept up the pressure. It was generally the Germans there. Too much on everything else but combat units. Too many caches. too much, taking up too rapidly, rather left them bereft of combat units, and the way they used them rather overall kept them easily contained here by the Surge, allowing the Surge to much easier tag up and deny the Germans resource. I mean, when the Germans finally got some armor on the field and all that, there was already plenty of things that are waiting to sort of make a mess out of it. That was definitely one of the problems. The Soviets also made reasonably good use of mines, which definitely also hurt the Germans quite a bit. Also, in terms of doctrine, I definitely think the Surge did a bit more out of it compared to the Germans. Well, the Soviets would like to see some guards for infantry, and that Pack 43 I definitely feel could have been something else rather than a Pack 43. And so the question is if festering armor would have been the right choice, if not saying mechanized, which might have allowed Stugosaurus to be a bit more aggressive. And another problem was, again, basically the times where they had a large armor force right there at the beginning but failed to utilize it, thus failing to sort of exploit it and giving the opponent time to get something to stop it with. That was definitely one of the larger problems here for the Germans, overall allowing the Soviets to sort of gain the upper hand throughout this fight quite easily. That was sort of, well, one of the major issues, really. The German forces were rather too small and perhaps not fully quite composed, and also, again, the light mechanized companies I think could have been done a bit better with. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed this match despite the slight technical issues. If you did, want to subscribe, tell your friends, share with everyone. If not, send in a replay, and if you do send in a replay, do provide a link with to the leaderboards as to where your position. That makes things a lot easier for me. Anyways, this is Imperial Dane saying cheers.